Well, hello, my friends. This is Caleb Byerly, and I kind of wanted to explain the difference between a Bukkehorn made out of a goat horn and one out of a antelope horn. And first, before I get into details about this, I just want to play them for you so you can hear the difference. So let's start with a goat horn. And here's an antelope or a kudu horn. All right, so let me just kind of explain the difference between these. Both of them are horns from animals. This one is from a Spanish goat, a Catalina goat. This one is from the large antelope. And so both of them thankfully have this real good, strong tone to them, and they're really bold sound. A lot of people use these horns for shofars, which is the long type of horn. They call it Kudu or Yemenite shofar. It's got really bold sound to it. This one is also a very piercing and strong sound. But the interesting thing is that every horn is different. I can't just buy any horns or get any type of horn and then just expect that it's just going to sound good. Like, I have to select each horn, and then you never know what story comes from these horns. I mean, really, they came from animals that were out in the nature, and sometimes they would get in fights with other goats or animals, and they would have to ram their horns, and so sometimes they have punctures or defects in the horn that the horn actually healed. You could tell that it got injured, but then it healed over time, and so all of that plays a role in how it sounds, the story of how these instruments sound. And so I think that's amazing. I think that's what makes these instruments really unique, is that every horn has a story. And so technically a Bukkehorn is supposed to be a goat horn, and that's what they used back in the day. Now they would use different types of horns, but generally it's supposed to be used as a goat horn. However, right now there's a real scarcity with goat horns that are this long and has this capability of making an instrument like this. So they're kind of rare. They're kind of hard to find. And so what a lot of makers like me have done, we have used kudu horns or these antelope horns, because they actually have a real similarity in the way that they play, the way that they sound, and that these are a lot more abundant and available than these horns. But that doesn't take away from the quality of this instrument. This is still, thankfully, this is still a very good quality instrument. It's going to last forever as long as you take care of it. And it's got the same type of piercing sound to it. The only thing is that it's different. It is a little bit different in the way that it plays and the way that it sounds. But so let me just go over the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece on an antelope horn, I do it like this because it creates more of a better control of your sound. Make this mouthpiece out of the same material. So what I do is I cut the end, and I make the mouthpiece out of the end of the horn, and then I flip it around and put it back in place. And what that does is it creates a really good um, uh, sounding instrument, and um, you have more control than if you were just to cut off the end and try to make a mouthpiece out of it. Um, so both of these are the same. The way that the diameter of the mouthpiece and everything with a goat horn, you're generally able to make a mouthpiece without having to take off the end and flip it around. So that's kind of how that works. But the holes are the same, the placement and everything's the same. But another good thing about the antelope horn is that antelope horns are, all different sizes. It can be from a size like this all the way to like 50 inches or something. So you could actually make a Bukkehorn almost as long as you want, and really low, like really low tone. You can get really that low, like that low pitched, like just really beautiful sound to it. Whereas like a goat horn, this is about the longest you can get. Sometimes you can get a little bit longer, but that's really rare. So these let me see here. This one's in the key of F sharp, and this one is in the key of F, just a little bit lower. And so that's kind of what it is. But if I wanted to get this one in the key of D or even the key of C, I could do that. So I hope that gives at least a little bit of information about that. And I really love the Bukkehorn. It's a beautiful instrument. It's an ancient instrument, and it's the cool thing is that I believe it's a sound that the world needs to hear. It's an awakening sound. It's a sound to gather people together. A lot of times when when I have big gatherings and I want to bring people together, then I use this sound because you might be in conversation and all of a sudden you hear it, you're like, oh, like, okay, and you turn your head and you go towards the whoever is playing it, because it's a sound that the shepherds used back in the day to protect the sheep or the herd from predators, but it would also be the sound that the sheep knew where the shepherd was, so they would follow the shepherd. So I think that's a wonderful example of what this instrument does, the capability of what it does, even for us, like to gather, but also to keep the predators away. And so anyway, I hope that gives a little bit of information about this instrument. I think it's a really cool instrument, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through my website. There's different options. I have like bags and stands available. All that's on our website. There's little drop-down menus. Sometimes we have goat horns available, and you'll see that on our listing. We always have Kudu horns available, and so you'll see that on our website. There's different listings, and you can just go through that and see. But anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you very much.